This video is incredibly high quality and took a lot of time for him to make, so if you want to support him in any way, shape, or form, 100% make sure to go to his channel, link is in the description. But with that, take it away, Mr. Rogue Theory.
Welcome back to A Rogue Theory, where we explore the origins, influences, and playability of your favorite archetypes. Remember to like and subscribe to start the speedrun to 10k subs, maybe. Today we are covering speed. Faster than fast, quicker than quick, one winner, a YCS filled with losers. This is FA, the fastest archetype ever made. The FAs are comprised of 6 main deck monsters, 2 synchros, 1 link monster, 9 spells, and 3 trap cards. The FAs are designed with the intention of not only representing motor vehicle sports, but also referencing popular racing movies and shows, the 2 obvious examples being Speed Racer and the movie Cars. While I personally can't recommend anyone to ever watch Speed Racer and still be able to sleep at night, I'll give you the quick rundown so you don't get scarred for life. Bad car bad, good car good. Bad car wins the initial race against the good car competes to get another shot at the final race, good car gets an upgrade, and competes with the bad car, eventually winning the race and becoming the new champion. And that's about all you really need to know about the story of this archetype. Now, while I'm sure I could do a more sophisticated analysis, all you really need to know is that the FAs gain and lose levels to represent themselves speeding up or slowing down to do special maneuvers.
He's a good kid and devil behind the wheel. What the hell else more do you need to know?
So please go ahead and trust me, you don't want to be scarred by looking into the origins of the Link monster.
Now, what type of vehicle is this? No, it's stupid.
Hang-On Mach is an in-archetype Dark Law that's immune to monsters who are beneath him.
Bloody peasant!
This allows you to easily manage your opponent's plays if you get it above level 6. While this can be threatening to your opponent and can stop them from comboing in the first place, you want to do your best to protect this card as long as it's on the field. Whip Cross, like Trickstars, requires your opponents to pay life points if they want to use the effects of cards lower than his level. While the burn damage isn't often relevant, the fact that he can act as a floodgate against decks that are running Forbidden Droplets, Dryadens, or Dangers is extremely strong and a great way to stop them from ever getting set up with a full combo. Sonic Meister is one of the worst cards within this archetype since it's strictly used to close out games and it doesn't provide any real utility effect going first. If it wasn't obvious, you're better off not playing this card and instead running Borosword in your extra deck. Turbocharger provides the deck a way to stop targeted attacks and effects from hitting your more important FAs, but since this only applies to cards with level or rank, it falls short of being a usable card within the deck when matched up against your opponent's Link monsters. Dark Dragster gives the deck a way to access spot removal and takes care of problem cards that are currently standing in your way of your opponent's life points. While this might seem mediocre at first, the fact that some cards modulate level during certain phases of the turn means that getting the ability to pop a card in the main phase with all your effects can sometimes be more important than saving your targeting destruction for later on in your turn. Auto Navigator is the bread and butter of this deck. Thanks to its ability to modulate levels, search a field spell, and summon itself from the hand, it allows the deck to ramp up its starting place and set off on the right track by producing overwhelming advantage. Dawn Dragster is most famously known as a spell or trap negator, but since its resource to negate is based on level and you can easily increase it at will, you could argue it's nearly infinite in terms of power. Motorhome Transport gives the deck a boss monster that acts as a piece of recovery every turn. While most often you won't even summon it to win a game, it's a nice backup option in the case you start to lose out on main deck resources in prolonged games. Shining Star GT gives the deck a way to negate monster effects and kill your opponent's monsters with high attack values that normally your FAs might have trouble facing. UA Hyper Stadium is always treated as an FA card and can search out Navigator from the deck to help you combo and provide you easy access to an additional normal summon. Thanks to this newly printed support, not only is the deck more consistent, but it also has access to plays and combos that can resist hand traps. City Grand Prix is the best field spell outside of Hyper Stadium due to its ability to protect your cards from targeting effects, and it grants levels to your monsters during both the battle phase and the main phase. Off-Road Grand Prix is your backup field spell if you lack other options, since it can punish the opponent who is attempting to kill your control cards during the battle phase by ripping a card out of their hand. Circuit Grand Prix is a card I wouldn't recommend playing as it's only meant to be played on your turn to take advantage of the draw effect. While it can be left on the field, it doesn't punish your opponent or protect you as effectively as the other cards might, which will prevent them from comboing in the main phase. Downforce can be used in a variety of ways, from making your in-archetype Dark Law go live to protecting your monsters that your opponent thinks that they can out. While it also serves to give your monsters a level increase on your turn by banishing itself from the graveyard, its second effect isn't really needed besides the increased attack values. Pit Stop allows the deck to not only have access to its own version of Upstart Goblin, but the longer the match goes on, the stronger this card becomes, as it allows you to draw more cards and revive key monsters that are in the graveyard. While most builds tend to not run Pit Stop as it symbolizes slowing down, only a fool wouldn't change their tires.
Need tires now, come on, let's go! No tires, just gas! You need tires, you idiot! Checkered flag, here I come! Oh no! McQueen is blowing a tire! And with only one turn to go, can he make it? You fool!
as it can often be described as the deciding factor to close out the game.
Rito, it's time.
Hey, Tiny, you gonna clean his windshield?
Pit stop.
Test Run is a mandatory 3 of in the deck, as it allows you to have targeted removal and to swap out your current racers to fit best against your opponent. Or it can also be used to set up your graveyard for further plays with FA Pit Stop. UA Locker Room, or FA Locker Room, provides the deck a way to play around hand traps and still manage to resolve their monster effects without losing to Disruption. While the return to hand effect can seem rather lackluster, thanks to the addition of Hyper Stadium, you can just normal summon your monster again and continue playing the game. FA Winners represents one of the hardest triumphs of racing, winning the Triple Crown. While it can be argued that this card has a decent ability that makes it worth being used, it provides no protection from being banished or targeted by other card effects. Now, while it's a shame that we can't include this automatic win strategy in a competitive build, I think it does a justice to the difficulty and skill it takes to race, as there's only ever been one person to have ever won the Triple Crown. Overheat allows the deck to take full advantage of the UA FA support from Phantom Rage by allowing you to summon your control-based cards from the hand that you've either searched or bounced from the field after your opponent attempted to remove them. While you can choose to play FA however you wish, I recommend anywhere between 2 to 3 copies of this card in a control-based build, as nothing feels better than drifting past your opponent's expectations.
Feel the power.
仕掛けるポイントはこの先の5連続ヘアピンカーブ。
オーバースピードだ！ブレーキ！
Dead Heat is probably one of the weirder cards of this archetype in how it relies on luck. While it's meant to be a reference to the end of the Speed Racer movie and tries to show the connection one has between the car and the driver, the fact that your opponent can pull a Joey Wheeler and outright beat you through luck makes this a rather weak card. Thankfully though, you won't take damage if you lose the dice roll. UA Man of the Match recognizes the famous achievement given in any sport known as MVP. While it can be used to provide a huge comeback for any deck in the late grind game, I personally wouldn't recommend it even in a slower control build, as you gotta go fast! Gotta go faster, 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 faster! Okay, now that we know all the cards that are currently released for the archetype, the effects of each card, and the very basic references and storyline for the FAs, we can finally speak to the competitive viability of this archetype. While it's cool to see an archetype that inhibits the idea of racing and the idea of sportsmanship in an often non-team setting, I'm disappointed by the lack of drifting. For combos today, I only have one that I think is worth showing. The FAs can be used to end on a board with an in-theme Darklaw and a battle phase protection for said control card. While you could easily end on a stronger board with multiple negates, I don't believe combos that require 4 cards will help a player, as this deck has many different plays depending on what you open. Here's the list that I'm currently playing around with. While many decks tend to focus on comboing off turn 1, this deck likes to take it slow at first before comboing on its second turn, and is cheeky +1 tactics by using Unending Nightmare to pop FA Pit Stops to draw extra cards and cycle through field spells later in the game. While I haven't explored the full strength of the new Rose-based support cards recently released, I can say that they hold surprising synergy for the FAs, and might just make them consistent enough to see competitive play. Now, while this deck of racing fanatics might seem weak at first, the more you play around and manage the archetype, the better it becomes as you begin to learn how to shift into maximum overdrive.
You'll never catch me, Krabs. Not when I shift into maximum overdrive. Hi-ya!
Feeling so small, watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I drive a faster car.
Hey, it's Rogue Theory here. I want to thank Golden Nova for not only helping me with the YouTube algorithm, but also for giving me the chance to collaborate with him and bring together a community of content creators, eventually, that help inspire each other and also our friends. Anyways, that's all. If you want to support me on Patreon and recommend your favorite archetypes, you can do so once a month, and my Discord community will go ahead and vote on them, and whichever is the most popular will be covered. This month, it's Burning Abyss, so feel free to do so. There will be links in the description down below.